In the year 2147, humanity stood on the precipice of interstellar diplomacy. The United Earth Federation (UEF) had expanded beyond the Sol system, colonizing dozens of worlds and forging alliances with minor alien species. But the real power in the galaxy was the Zorvian Empire, a vast conglomerate of insectoid overlords, controlled over 1,000 star systems. Their chitinous exoskeletons gleamed under artificial lights, and their mandibles clicked in rhythmic patterns that translators rendered as haughty demands. The summit was held on Neutralis Prime, a barren rock chosen for its equidistance from both empires. Admiral Elena Vasquez, humanity's lead negotiator, sat across a crystalline table from High Overlord Crix. She was a battle-hardened veteran, her uniform adorned with medals from the pirate wars of the Outer Rim. Beside her were diplomats in crisp suits, and behind them, a holographic display of Earth's sprawling megacities and orbital shipyards. "We offer peace," Crix buzzed through the translator, his compound eyes reflecting the room's glow. "In exchange, you will cede the Orion arm colonies and submit to our resource taxation. Refuse, and we will educate you on the folly of resistance." Vasquez leaned forward, her dark eyes unyielding. "High Overlord, humanity doesn't submit. We've clawed our way from a single planet to the stars through ingenuity and sheer will. Let's talk mutual benefit, strayed routes, technology sharing. War benefits no one." The Zorvians chittered among themselves, a sound like rustling leaves in a storm. Crix's antennae twitched. "Your ingenuity is chaos. Your fleets are toys compared to our hives. Accept our terms, or the talks end." The room tensed. Vasquez glanced at her aide, who nodded subtly. Sensors hidden in the human delegation's gear had already detected Zorvian warships massing at the system's edge. This wasn't negotiation. It was an ultimatum. As the session dragged on, demands escalated. The Zorvians wanted human AI tech, genetic samples, even breeding rights to improve their worker castes. Vasquez's team pushed back, citing sovereignty and ethics. But cracks formed. A junior diplomat muttered under his breath, "These bugs think we're ants to be stepped on." By day's end, Crix slammed a clawed appendage on the table. "Enough. Your insolence seals your fate. The Empire withdraws." Vasquez stood, her voice steady. "So be it." Talks broke down. But remember this: humanity doesn't break. As the Zorvian delegation stormed out, alarms blared in the human flagship orbiting above. Zorvian destroyers were powering weapons. The summit had been a trap. Back on Earth, news of the failed talks spread like wildfire. Holoscreens and Times Square Redux broadcasted Vasquez's defiant words, igniting a global fervor. President Malik addressed the Federation from the lunar capital. "The Zorvians have declared war on our future. But we are humanity. We adapt, we innovate, we conquer." In the shadows of the shipyards on Mars, engineers worked feverishly. The UF's fleet wasn't just ships. It was a testament to human resilience. From the colossal dreadnoughts like the UES Titan, armed with railguns that could punch through planetary shields, to swarms of agile fighters piloted by neural-linked aces. Humanity's arsenal had been built in secrecy during the peace era. Admiral Vasquez, now commanding the 1st Expeditionary Fleet, reviewed the intel. Zorvian scouts had already raided a human outpost in the Vega system, vaporizing habitats and capturing survivors for their hives. "They think we're weak because we talk first," she said to her bridge crew. "Time to show them our teeth." The first clash came at the Battle of Epsilon Eridani. A Zorvian high fleet, numbering in the hundreds, warped in to claim the system. Their ships were organic behemoths, pulsing with bioenergy weapons that fired acidic projectiles. Humanity responded with precision. The Titan led the charge, its fusion drives blazing as it unleashed a barrage of antimatter torpedoes. Fighters danced through the void, exploiting the Zorvians' rigid formations. Evasive maneuvers. Target their queen ships. Vasquez barked. Explosions lit the stars. Zorvian hulls cracked like eggshells, spilling warriors into the vacuum. But the enemy adapted, swarming with kamikaze drones. Casualties, mounted human pilots ejected into escape pods, vowing revenge. By battle's end, the Zorvians retreated, leaving debris fields that would become graveyards. Humanity had won the skirmish, but the war was just beginning. Word spread across the galaxy. The upstart humans weren't pushovers. The conflict escalated. Humanity mobilized like never before. Factories on Titan churned out warships at an unprecedented rate, powered by AI-optimized assembly lines. Volunteers flooded recruitment centers from grizzled veterans to wide-eyed cadets, all united under the banner for the stars. Dr. Liam Hargrove, a brilliant physicist from the Europa Labs, unveiled the breakthrough, the quantum fold drive. It allowed ships to jump across light years in seconds, bypassing traditional warp limitations. "We'll fill the void before they even see us coming," he declared. Vasquez's fleet grew. Allies trickled in. The nomadic Filari cat people, impressed by human tenacity, lent their stealth cruisers. Even the reclusive AI collective from Alpha Centauri pledged computational support. Hacking Zorvian comes to sow confusion, but the Zorvians struck back viciously. They glassed the colony on New Eden, turning fertile plains into radioactive slag. Survivors broadcasted pleas. They came in the night. "Our defenses held for hours, but we need the fleet." Rage fueled innovation. Human engineers retrofitted civilian freighters into Kuship's decoys packed with hidden weapons. Special forces units, the Star Marines, trained in zero-G combat, boarding enemy vessels to sabotage from within. In a daring raid on Zorvian supply lines, Captain Reyes led a squad aboard a hive transport. "Cut the neural links," he shouted amid laser fire. They freed human prisoners who joined the fight, turning the ship into a floating rebellion. Humanity's fleet wasn't just metal and might, it was a symphony of defiance. Each ship a note in the chorus echoing across the cosmos. The war raged for months, systems falling and reclaiming in a brutal dance. The Zorvians, with their endless hives, threw wave after wave at human defenses. But humanity's adaptability shone. Where Zorvians relied on overwhelming numbers, humans used strategy ambushes, feints, and guerrilla tactics. At the siege of Rigel, Vasquez orchestrated a mass. Pretending retreat, her fleet lured the Zorvian armada into a neutron star's gravity well. As the enemy ships struggled against the pull, human bombers unleashed gravity bombs, collapsing formations into black voids. "They're panicking," a sensor officer reported. Zorvian queens screeched orders, but it was too late. Half their fleet vanished in implosions, the survivors fleeing in disarray. News of the victory galvanized the galaxy. Neutral species whispered of the human miracle. Pirates and mercenaries flocked to the UEF banner, enticed by promises of loot and glory. Yet, losses were heavy. Vasquez mourned fallen comrades, including her own brother, lost in a boarding action. "We fight not for conquest, but for survival," she told her crew. "And we'll win because we must." Human scientists pushed boundaries. Bioengineered viruses targeted Zorvian physiology, deployed via stealth probes. Worlds, once under enemy control, rose in revolt as infected hives weakened. The fleet expanded exponentially. Shipyards and hidden asteroid belts produced carriers that launched drone swarms, AI-piloted and relentless. Humanity's presence filled the stars, patrols stretching from the core to the rim. With momentum on their side, humanity struck at the Zorvian core worlds. Intelligence from captured overlords revealed the location of Zorv Prime, their homeworld, a fortress of spires and underground hives. Vasquez assembled the Grand Armada, over 10,000 ships, a sea of steel blotting out stars. "This ends now," she broadcasted galaxy-wide. "Surrender or face oblivion." The approach was harrowing. Zorvian defenses, orbital cannons, minefields, and suicide fleets exacted a toll. Human shields buckled under plasma storms, but the fleet pressed on. Ground assaults followed orbital bombardments. Star Marines dropped in powered armor, clashing with Zorvian warriors in tunnels reeking of pheromones. For Earth, they roared. Chainswords worry through shinning. In the throne chamber, Vasquez confronted Crix. The overlord, wounded and cornered, hissed, "You are vermin." "How?" Vasquez leveled her pistol. "Because we don't just survive, we thrive. Your empire crumbles because you underestimated us." A single shot echoed. With Crix's fall, the hives fragmented, queens surrendering in mass. The war ended not with a bang, but a treaty signed amid ruins. Surviving Zorvians integrated into a new galactic order, their aggression curbed by human oversight. Colonies rebuilt, alliances forged stronger, humanity's fleet, once a defensive force, now patrolled the stars as guardians. Explorers pushed frontiers, discovering wonders in ancient ruins, new species, infinite possibilities. Vasquez, retired on a verdant world, gazed at the night sky. "We filled the stars not with conquest, but with hope," she wrote in her memoirs. Generations later, tales of the war inspired HFY anthems. Humanity, fuck yeah. From fragile talks to unbreakable will, humans proved that when pushed. They don't break, they expand, illuminating the void with their unyielding light.